every time there was an immigration change, which means a reduction that helped the descendants of black Americans, the descendants of slavery, it also helped the immigrants that are already in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this idea that somehow or another black Americans have to sacrifice jobs and wages to help other people of, quote, color it's just wrong, because actually it's hurting those people. The only people that it helps are the new people who want to come in. Of course, everybody that comes in the country immediately is helped by coming into the country. But once they're here, it's the new ways of immigration that keeps them down as well. However, that middle line, I talk about it's a history of immigration surges, number one, employer bias, number two, depression of black wealth, number three. That middle one, employer bias, as I've shown through the book by pointing to the studies that show how it works, there's just enough employer bias that will always, on average, put black applicants at the back of the hiring line. Will always put immigrants in front of the descendants of slavery in the hiring line. And so the longer the hiring line, the more you fill that hiring line with immigrants, the farther back you put millions of black Americans from being able to have the dignity of a job. And this has been going on now since 1965. So we're talking about more than a half century of Congress using immigration to disadvantage the very people the very people who are driving this policy will tell you that they are champions of African Americans. Not just African American politicians, but lots of politicians, and some and not just one party either at times. And they'll claim they're champions of African Americans, but they've absolutely turned a blind eye to the effect of mass immigration on struggling African Americans.
And the data is clear. And as I said, when I spoke with Sheila Jackson Lee, they like to ignore it. And so it's a deception, because we can assume that a politician and talking heads like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton have a level of intelligence that they understand that there's data and history out there that is clear. And also you can see the empirical evidence, okay? So they can see what's happening in Los Angeles, where you have 40% homeless or black folks, okay? So you have to assume it's deception. They're deceiving black Americans. And the onus is on black Americans to get their act together. Their leaders, or there should be groups of black Americans that should say, forget what the politicians are doing. It behooves us to start our own businesses up and down Crenshaw Boulevard, to get together and do that.